Yo, what's going on, D-Squad? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I was able to sit down for an interview with one of the people who run InPvP/Mineville and Pixel Paradise. And in this interview, we go over questions and concerns the community and myself had about the new Minecraft featured server, Pixel Paradise. If you guys want more videos like this, where I sit down and talk with server owners about concerns with their servers, leave a like and subscribe to help me beat the YouTube algorithm. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Okay, so you are Niraj, you're the owner of InPvP/Mineville and Pixel Paradise, correct?
I'm not the owner. I'm actually the one that just runs it.
Oh,
I don't own the server. I'm just the guy that helps with works with the devs and the team and all of our people just to make things happen.
Okay, and how long have you been involved with InPvP and Mineville?
Oh my gosh, since the very start, since when PE was just on mobile and Lifeboat was making servers, and then InPvP started making minigames way back as well. This is coming up to 6 years now, 7 years. Long time.
Yeah, I remember the old InPvP days.
Oh, that was fun. Making everything new. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
All right, so the first question on the list was, why did you guys, I guess, decide to make another featured server?
Cool. Yeah. So with Mineville, we realized, hey, everyone's making mini games right now. We have a bunch of servers that make mini games. There's a big Minecraft player base that loves roleplay. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube that if you just type in Minecraft roleplay, there's a huge audience for that. So we're like, okay, cool. Let's make something different here. Let's speak to Microsoft and be like, hey, we try mini games. We want to try roleplay. Like, there seems to be a big audience on Bedrock because they're a younger demographic. They're a younger player and they get to play whatever they want and they like to roleplay that with friends. So we decided to create Mineville, which is, we've noticed as well, like, high school roleplay does really well on YouTube. So we're like, okay, let's make a server that caters to this audience. So we built that in Mineville. We built high school. We built some police force. We built fire trucks. We really wanted to immerse the player into a different experience. Like Mineville City, it's a city. You get into a city and you get to explore the city. So with this and making another feature server, we realized, okay, cool. There's still more players that want to experience this kind of thing. And what we did with Pixel Paradise is we changed it from the reality of Mineville, of like, this is a city, you go to school, you become a police officer, to more fantasy based, more creative based, where you go into Pixel Paradise, you're in an island and there's tiki people everywhere, there's fun, it's super enjoyable, and it's more creative. So we wanted it to really focus on that demographic. And I don't know if you noticed as well, like in a bunch of our characters and our players that take you through the experience are female leads. We try and cater to those audiences as well. There's actually a huge player base that are female gamers, female girl gamers, that we just wanted to be like, look, there's no place for them to enjoy a place. So we try to make that safe space for them to come in, and they can stay in the hub and just walk around and speak to all the different NPCs. All the NPCs have different dialogue and they can role play with their friends. So we thought there was a different gap in the market that isn't to do with mini games, isn't to do with competitive nature, and we wanted to create that experience for those players.
So is that the, I guess, main reason why you guys separated this from InPvP?
Well, I would describe InPvP as our game studio. We have a large game studio, and it's basically InPvP is like, hey, we want to make cool stuff. So that includes marketplace content, includes Mineville, and includes Pixel Paradise, and some other projects we're working on as well in the background. It's a large team, and InPvP, I'm very proud to say, has grown from the 7 years ago, so that we can work on multiple different things at a time and not be tied down to one thing, which is, I think, is pretty cool, because then we get to work on a bunch of different things and target different people who play the game. There's a lot of people that play the game that you know, just play single player, and if they role play on single player, we want them to have a space to role play on server stuff as well, which is why we went to Microsoft and they were like, yes, there is this player base. We want to target these people. So that's why we built it.
Okay. There's been rumors that the server was rushed to get released. If so, why?
I don't know I don't know who would know how long the server would take to build, because it's just literally our team, but it's been in development for a while. We actually had to hire additional people to build this out because we wanted it to be a different feel, a different vibe. We actually used a different build team for our spawn and stuff, because usually Mineville is city based. We wanted to go more fantasy based, and then we have models in there as well. Like, if you don't know, in Mineville we kept it pretty city based, but here we have the different models, that characters that guide you through the experience. We have like the hotel in the back, and everything like that. So it took us a good amount of time. Even just the infrastructure alone. I don't know if you know how it is to run servers, but the back end side where we have to scale our servers, we use cloud-based computer software. We have our back end that handles all of the people coming in and logging all their data and stuff. We had to make a whole new system for that. So it's not exactly just copy and paste,
Yeah.
but it did take a while to do for sure. And we wanted to make sure we were targeting again a different player demographic. And we had to go through focus groups. We get kids in, and we're like, do you enjoy this? Is there something going on here? What do you want to see different? And we had to get girl gamers in as well. Like, do you feel like this is a cool experience for you? Like, do you feel awesome you'd come on and play this all the time? So it did take a good amount of time. I don't think it was rushed at all. No way.
With the launch, I think people thought it did a lot better than it was going to number-wise, but there was also quite a bit of lag. A lot of players were reporting. Were you guys expecting that many players, and were you expecting that these lag issues to come up?
So yeah, when we describe lag, it comes in a bunch of different varieties. So for example, there could be just like game lag itself. The one thing we experienced was actually server lag, because there was we tried to hit a capacity for the amount of players per server, and we actually had one of our issues with Azure, which is the cloud-based. It's like AWS and stuff, where they couldn't spin up servers quick enough. But we resolved that within like 4 hours, where we reached out to them and said, hey, we need to spin up more servers, and they gave us access to do so, and we managed to alleviate that and just spin up a bunch of servers so that no one would have lag. We actually bumped, I think we 3x'd the amount of servers we were planning to use, just so that we can make sure that players, even if there was less people they see, they didn't lag. So we literally just paid for that, and we're like, okay, let's just get everyone on so they can check it out and experience it. And if it's not for them, that's totally cool, and then we'll scale that down next week. So we just try to like push everything out so people can experience it, and then we can rein it in later on.
Yeah, I noticed second day was definitely a lot smoother server-wise.
Oh yeah, we figured out the kinks, yeah.
What happened to the original vibe of InPvP minigames, and where it was based around the minigames and overall a fun time for the community?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I loved the community back in InPvP style. When we did the mini games and everything with Space Team, I had such a fun time building that out and creating the system around it. Do you remember Proton the pig?
Yes.
Our mascot as well. Like I loved it. That was an amazing experience for me. And we tried so hard to make that work, like really hard to make that work. And I don't know if you know this, it's pretty hard to run servers these days. We have to pay for server costs, we have to pay for staff team, support team, developers. Like there's a lot that goes into it. But mini games just weren't making us enough money to make it worthwhile. Like we would have to close down if we kept with InPvP minigames. It's across the board. Like every server's having these issues, and they use the marketplace as a leverage to be like, okay, cool, we can keep the server alive, but we need 5 of these products to do really well on the marketplace. Whereas we can't have that. We can't have that at all. Like that's not viable enough for us to actually employ staff and like have developers that come on and then have, you know, a paycheck every month, because we hire them as employees. They aren't contracted. We literally give them benefits. We give them health insurance. We give them dental. We give them, you know, everything. And so to make that work, we had to make the decision to be like, okay, cool. There's this other demographic that loves roleplay. Like it's a huge. I don't know if you've looked on YouTube. Have you looked to see the roleplay side of Minecraft? It's crazy.
Yeah, I personally haven't. No.
There's a lot that goes on, and we were like, okay, look, this does well on the marketplace. We released Mineville High School on the marketplace. It did very, very well. It was one of our best-selling products, and every player loved it. So we're like, why can't we bring this onto the server side? And we did. And we're like, okay, cool. Mineville High School to this day is still free to play. Like you can still go onto the server on Mineville and play high school. And we're like, this is actually awesome. Like players really enjoy this. They want to come onto the high school and play this. So it's not that we don't want to do mini games, it's just we hit another demographic that really enjoys roleplay, and that actually worked for us, and then we could monetize that and then continue to develop different game modes, continue to expand our servers, and then also hire additional people that can make cooler stuff later on, and we can build our team around that. Remember, we weren't a Java server, we were always a Bedrock server. We never had the money behind Java or anything like that to come in. We had to build everything from scratch. InPvP was one of the first mini games with Lifeboat to do anything. That's why it's Lifeboat and InPvP as the only Bedrock servers on the server partner program. Everyone else came from Java. So it's tough for us to make decisions, but then also to try and stay alive so we can continue building this out. And especially as one of the OG Bedrock PE servers, like we're trying our best to really target every different player And I think the Java servers did very well. Like the Hive, CubeCraft, Mindplex doing very good job hitting the mini games because that's what they're used to. And I think we're taking a different approach to it, where we're hitting the Bedrock players that are playing on their phones or playing on their consoles and that don't speak to us like via Discord or Twitter or anything like that. They come in and just enjoy the gamers and just stay on the server. So we're targeting different people now, but I loved the mini games back in the day. That was my whole thing. I loved Prod on the Pig, Solo the Sheep, making those awesome different things.
Yeah, me as well. I really did enjoy the old InPvP.
Totally.
Are there?
But I hope you understand why we changed.
Yes, I can see now. Are there any more game modes planned for the future? Which I believe I know the answer for that. And will they be pay to play as well, or a mix of both?
So yes, we would love to create different content. We're going to be building out a bunch of different stuff. So one of the things that we look at when we build a game mode is who we're targeting. So what is popular right now? Is there a popular game mode that goes out? For example, every other server has Bed Wars or Money Wars or a different variation of it. Sky Wars, survival games. Every server has that. So we want to hit those big playing game mode notes, but then add our own twist onto it. Which is why Islands is a little bit different. Obviously, it's a Skyblock vibe. It's there's no sugarcoating that. But same way how the Lifeboat has survival games and the CubeCraft has survival games, they put their own different twists on it. So as we continue to release new products, we're going to be adding different twists onto it. So I don't know if you've checked out, like on Mineville, we have a Skyblock there, but we completely do everything different. We have a whole Nether expansion, which has different bosses in different areas, and you have to go and collect resources in those areas, and then get keys, and then use keys to go unlock the bosses. Like we've done a bunch of expansions on that side that are completely different to the original Skyblock. So Pixel Paradise is just going to be even better than that. We're going to make it even better. We're going to go deeper into the lore and the storyline. And if you've checked it out, we have the Community Island, which has like the mines in the mountain. We're going to add a different expansions. We're going to take you on boats to different islands that we're going to be expanding on as well. There's a bunch of things that we want to do, and additional new game modes that we want to test out ourselves. So we have the core fun game modes that everyone's used to, everyone's seen on YouTube, that they already understand. But then we also want to do game modes that people may have not seen before, but it's harder for us to take that risk, because if players don't like it, then we spend a good 3 months developing something where no one likes it. So we have to do a bit of both. So a bit of what players understand and what players want to see as well. So we've done that on Mineville a bit as well. Some of our game modes, like Dungeons, that's different. It's like a zombies based game mode, but we're using mobs as well, and there's bosses. Like that was amazingly fun for us to develop, but the community didn't really like it as much. So we have to be there's a lot of give and take to make sure we're hitting the right notes, while also making sure the players know exactly what we're trying to do.
Why should people think this isn't just a quick money grab under a different server?
Because it isn't. We have a completely different. Basically, there's teams. We have teams that work on Mineville and then teams that work on Pixel Paradise. So they're two different. We have two different people working on each one. So it's a different experience completely. Like we want to set the baseline and be like, okay, this is what Pixel Paradise is. It is a role-play environment where you can be creative, very fantasy-based, very colorful and playful. Whereas Mineville is very much city and real life kind of aspects. Like we want to take real life things and put it into the game mode. Whereas this one, we're like, oh, cool. Use a trident to get around the city. We have a hotel that's run by a tiki man and fruits and stuff like that. So we want to create, again, targeting a different demographic. There's a lot of players that play on Minecraft, and we actually want to focus on those type of role players and stuff as well, and have those different people come in who haven't experienced Minecraft or don't like going into a PvP world and fighting and dying every 2 seconds. They want to come in and just enjoy themselves and walk around, play around with their friends, go speak to the NPCs, go to the top of the hotel, fly off with an elytra. Like those are the type of players we want to target. People, not all Minecraft players want to go to Sky Wars and play Sky Wars. I guarantee you that. It's very much a server multiplayer thing. And now that we're putting this on the server list, Microsoft realized that there's not just one player base. So they allow us to be like, hey, we see what you're doing with Mineville. I totally get it. Pixel Paradise makes sense. We want to target girls players as well. Like we have a lot of strong female leads here. We actually have a couple YouTubers as well that are gonna be checking on this out that are female focused that want to experience it and share it with the rest of their community because we're trying to create that safe space. We're trying to make sure like they're taken care of as well. And even to the boy gamers as well. Like being creative and being passionate about what they do is what we want to focus on. So that's why we started with islands, for example, so that they can do whatever they want and be creative. And then we can continue to expand on that and add additional islands and add like the end and nether and these different expansions that we want to do. But we've got to start somewhere, right? So the baseline is get your island fixed out, because overwhelming the player with a bunch of information and a bunch of content doesn't always work out as well, because then they drop off and they're like, I don't understand what's going on. So we take it within stages, and we want to make sure they're walked and handheld through the process. So it's definitely not a money grab. Otherwise we would just kept doing it on Mineville. This is definitely a play to target a different demographic of Minecraft that aren't PvP based, aren't competitive, but are fully invested in creativity and roleplay.
Why do you guys make games that are pay to play entirely rather than have content you could purchase to enhance your gameplay and your experience, such as cosmetics in the game, pets that you could, I guess, ride around, or any other stuff like that?
So yeah, great question. So we've actually done a bunch of testing on this on Mineville. There are game modes that are completely free to play, and there's game modes that are pay to play as well. I want to preface that pay to play is basically just a token just to come into the game mode, and you get lifetime access to that game mode. There is nothing else we charge you in game unless you want to. For enhancements, you don't have to purchase anything else. There is no other you don't have to touch anything else. So when we figure this out with this monetization scheme on Mineville, we have games like Evolutions and Dungeons, where we just have them free to play, and then you can buy things within the game mode itself. Those games are actually our lead loss makers, because we just can't afford to keep them updated, because there's just not enough transactions that are going through. I mentioned this before, like all the other minigame servers are actually offsetting their costs by posting things to the marketplace. And if they had no marketplace and stuff, I guarantee you there wouldn't be as much development going on as there is right now. So we did a lot of testing, and that's why we did 2 free-to-play game modes and 2 normal game modes, which have a lot more content in, because they have a pass requirement. So we have Spleef and then TNT Run, which are free to play, which haven't required a lot of development, because they're normal game modes that have been done over and over again in the past. But with our islands and volcano, we're adding a little bit of twist on them as we go through, and they require a lot more development. So we just want to make sure that if you're going to be buying a pass to our game modes, for a fact we will continue development on those because you paid for a pass. Whereas our other gamers that might be free, we're not going to be putting much effort into them, because it just doesn't have the return to pay our developers, pay our builders who build new maps every week, pay for the servers just to keep them online. All the free game modes, you have to pay for servers to keep those online. And so we needed some sort of, not guarantee, but just like hey, you trust us enough to pay for a pass to come onto Volcano. We promise to you, we will continue to update Volcano for you with content and updates. Like that's our promise to you, because you're paying to get in. There is no, I understand that we're actually going to be testing a way to have Volcano. You can go into the first mine or 2, and then you can test it out and see if you like it, and then you can pay for a pass to get in. But ideally, the goal is obviously to be like, hey, thank you for paying for a pass. It's a lifetime access to this game mode, which we will dedicate an engineer just to make content on. That's our promise to you guys. Is like, that's how we operate, and we know, like, hey, as long as if you keep paying to come in, we will provide you with content. That just secures us and then also the player for content, without giving like, hey, this is free, but we might not be giving you updates, and I know you really love this game mode, but it just doesn't make us enough money to make updates for it, or hire an engineer to develop for it. So this way it just confirms that, hey, you're good, you're taken care of, we know we can handle this for you.
The ranks, the VIP rank, some people feel is expensive, including the each individual helper for $16, $16 for a one-time use pickaxe. That whenever I tried it, it didn't work properly. Like, it put me inside of a volcano, and I couldn't see it, so I didn't know if that was how it was supposed to be used. People just feel that those are quite expensive, and I think could probably be cut in half.
So the situation with these products. By the way, I want to give you another volcano eruption just on me because you didn't get to experience it, and that must have been a bug. So I'm gonna give you another one just because they shouldn't have experienced, and I don't want you to waste your money for sure. That is not what we're gonna do. If anyone else experiences that, we will help 100%. That is not what we want to do. Like you're grateful enough to us to spend money on our server where we want to give you an enhancement for that game mode. You don't have to pay for these things. So VIP, the helpers, the pickaxes, these things they just make it quicker for you. You have no reason to purchase this thing. We do not force you to purchase anything. We just give you the option to buy it if you would like to. I mean, VIP doesn't give you any enhancing things like that crazy. It gives you fly, it gives you access to the other helpers, it gives you a cool looking boat. Like these are the different cosmetic things that you were talking about, like saying, hey, why don't you have cosmetic stuff? Like, well, we do, but if you would like to spend for it, you can. But if you don't, that is not a problem. And what we've noticed is that people like to spend for this thing. Like we don't force them to do it at all. Like it's there in every place, but we don't like you need to do this to excel throughout the product. That is not our goal whatsoever. But we noticed if you go into Hypixel, for example, one of their top selling products is what over $50 for a rank. And I'm not comparing myself to Hypixel at all, not at all. They are a brilliant server, but us setting that price point of, for example, I don't think it's $30, but I think just under $30 for the VIP, is for people that if they would like to, they can purchase it and they can help the server and they get perks for it, like they can fly and they get a cool looking boat. That is not way at any point needed for your experience. This is just a thing that we wanted to throw in additionally on as an add-on. If you wanted it to enhance your experience, make it easier for you, you can even invite your friends over to do the work for you if you wanted to. It's not a big deal for us, but the price point we have right now is shown, proven again with Mindville and then previous products. We took learnings from other servers. We took learnings from the marketplace as well. We even took learnings from Microsoft data they've given us from Minecraft sales and how much they've sold on other stuff. That these price points are a good price point for the player base. And obviously it's not for everyone, but we understand that if you would like to purchase it, the price point works and people are fine doing that, especially on like consoles and everything like that. It's not as high as we think it should be because it's in terms of servers in general, it's pretty cheap compared to what you're actually getting and server costs and development and then also all the other factors going on. But again, not needed whatsoever. If you do not purchase it, it is not a problem. You can play the game completely normal.
Don't you guys feel that you are only taking away from your original fan base over on Mineville with the same type game mode / roleplay?
No, because it's again like for example, it's like CubeCraft and Mineplex. They both have survival games. Why build the same survival games if CubeCraft has it? You put your own twist on it. You put your own spin on it. Like why does all these other Java stuff? Why does Hypixel do Skyblock? Everywhere else does Skyblock, but we're gonna be taking our own spin on it as we continue to grow and continue to move forward. It's basically putting your own spin onto different things and different kind of environments you're going to be in. Like again, I'm going to mention it again, Mineville has a nether expansion that has not been seen on any skyblock whatsoever, and we plan on doing the same with Pixel Paradise, where we enhance your experience into a different world, a different environment, a different section that has not been seen before on any other servers. So it's not cut and paste. The core mode itself, sure, everyone understands what Skybox is. Everyone understands what Prison is. The same way everyone understands what Skywars is. But putting your own twist on it and making it different is what we want to do, and encourages different people who want to experience different things to come in and have that experience. So that's our goal. It's nothing to take away from the original fan base, but it's more so an addition to it, and be like, hey, if you prefer more fantasy style, come to Pixel Paradise. If you prefer more city style and more real lifestyle, go to Mineville. If you like Skywars and CubeCraft because they have cooler looking maps, go to CubeCraft. But if you like Lifeboat because it's nostalgic, go to Lifeboat. And that's the way I look at it. It's not that we're trying to just there's no copy paste, but it's the style you put on it, the twist you put on it. And I think we're going to try and be hitting that in the next coming months, for sure.
What makes this a safer space for young people and females for roleplay than the other servers? Like, I don't know what chat filters you guys have. Obviously I know Microsoft has probably a pretty good system as well.
Yeah.
But I guess what guarantees that some weirdo or something isn't going to come to the server and harass or I guess target these young females or other people in the server?
Great question. Great question. So yes, so Microsoft, they actually require us. They require every server to use the same chat filter. So it's actually, we're not allowed to be a server partner unless we have this chat filter, and they take it very seriously. They actually update it daily with new words, new key terms, everything that spread across the entire server network, and we use that. Straight off the bat, we use that. Obviously, Xbox Live has their own things as well. So if you like to mute someone or you don't want to be in the same game as them as well, we've linked into Xbox Live, so you can just hit pause, go down to the server list, and click a user and say go away. We've also, this is actually a great question, because we've actually got a support team on our side that's going to be with us 24/7. We're going to be rolling them out the next week or two as well. Just trying to see how the community engaged the first couple of weeks of the server, but now we're looking at it, we need this kind of thing. And they're going to be on the server taking a look, making sure everyone's clean and collect, and everyone's having a good time. We're not trying to like push anyone down, but we're trying to make sure everyone's having a good time. So that's what we're looking at here. And again, with the younger demographic, they love roleplay. So every one of our NPC talks to you. They have their own storyline. If you go deeper into Volcano, the NPCs mining and the Tiki guys mining and stuff, they have different dialogue as you go further down into the mines and stuff. So we're trying to do the little things that will push a player to be like, oh, cool, let me check out what's over here. Let me go explore what's going on here. And as you notice as well, like our main all the main characters that kind of lead you through it are all female focused. Like we want to make sure they have empowerment and they have representation within the server. I doubt, like, again, mini games are very much competitive PvP based, so we want to make sure like there's a huge creative platform on the Minecraft side, and majority of those are girls as well. Like, so having that representation is just our first step to being like, hey, we're good here. Like we believe this all. We see it as well, and we want to make sure you're represented. And I think that's a great first step for us to, you know, get us through the door as one of these type of servers that hasn't really been seen before. Like we're one of the first on the server partner program that are kind of doing this without the whole PvP and super competitive nature. So that's what we're going for, and it's just going to keep expanding as we're online. So I will say, please give us some time. It does require a lot of work to release a server and do all these little minor things, especially like with a bunch of people joining, and then we have to work with our cloud scaling services and then get that, make sure the servers are up, and at the same time keep the lights on with the bills running and everything like that. So don't get me wrong, we want to make sure we're hitting the community and what they enjoy. So that's our goal for sure. So we're happy for community feedback as well. But just make sure we realize this is a role-playing server, and it's definitely made not for the PvPers and competitive-based players. So this is definitely for a different demographic.
Okay, awesome. I think that concludes all the questions I had. I really do appreciate your willingness to set this interview up and answer some of the community's questions. And I do really wish you guys the best with your server. And thanks again for setting this up.
If you have any more questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good day, man.
Thank you. You too.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching this entire video. If you guys did watch through the entire video, comment down below cow, so that way I'll know you guys watched the entire video. And I also do want to thank Narash yet again for, you know, the willingness on communicating the server's side of this, because the server was getting a lot of unnecessary hate. I admit I was kind of upset with the server. It wasn't what I was, you know, expecting, and sometimes that just happens. As he was saying, this isn't designed for the PvP community. It's obviously designed for a whole different demographic, and although us PvPers may not like the roleplay, there is a huge audience of people who do want to roleplay. Now, it may not be as big as the PvP community, but I do understand the server side of everything there, and I do truly wish the best for the server. I'm excited to see what games they do add in the future and how they handle things in the future. Obviously, the server isn't near as laggy as it was day 1. I hopped on it day 2, and it was 10 times better lag-wise. And they are willing to, you know, help the community out if there are any major issues with any of their purchases or stuff like that. So again, I do gotta thank the Pixel Paradise community for understanding our frustrations and willing to explain their side. So again, if you guys do want to see some more videos like this, maybe I'll, you know, try getting in a call with the Galaxite staff as well, or maybe even the Lifeboat staff, and maybe even the Hive staff, just to see if they're willing to explain some of their details and their thought process on stuff. Make sure you guys do leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, and bye-bye.